Hi everyone, my name is Angela from Angela Stitches and welcome back to my channel. So yesterday I mostly worked on Blue Manor while watching the Netflix show, The Haunting of Bly Manor. And I have some tail ends here, but I worked on a couple of these motifs and then on the house. And I know it doesn't look like it's a lot, but I worked on this for several hours. So this is the cover picture and I'm only about right here. So I'm going to work on this a little bit more. And I'm watching The Haunting of Bly Manor and it's okay, but I think I like The Haunting of Hill House better. I'm in the 5th episode, I think, and I don't know how I feel about it. I just want to finish it and see how it's going to end. But I've watched Haunting of Hill House several times because the story was kind of interesting with the family and the relationships between the siblings and what they all represented. But also, like, the imagery was really cool, like the classic ghost story placed in a haunted house. And one of the, I really like one of the takes where it was in the funeral scene where everything was shot in one continuous, without any edits, if that makes sense. I know there's a term for it, but I can't remember what it's called. But it was just shot in one take, and that was really cool to see. And I'm not seeing anything like that in Haunting of Bly Manor. And also, there's just too much repetition um, without really adding anything to the story, if that makes sense. It's just keep repeating the same concept on every character, and I'm just like, I get the point. Like, can we just get going to the next part? And also, I kind of already see where the story is gonna go, and I'm hoping there will be some sort of twist at the end, but I don't think there will be. So the show isn't that bad, but I think I like The Haunting of Hill House a lot better. Because that ending, I didn't see it coming. It was really good, and I actually got a little scared to sleep in the dark, to tell you the truth. But, anyways, I'm going to try to finish the show, and then also I think I might start another house chart that I was talking about in my last video. So it's the pink house sampler. So this is what it looks like. And I really like the border on this chart and all of this on the bottom here. I think they're cheap, and I think this calls for specialty flosses with all of the variations. Let's see. Yeah, I think this calls for general arts, but I'm gonna do it in coloring cotton on 40 count. So those are the houses that I have, and it's true, I think I'm working on every house charts that I have. Someone commented in my last video that I'm working on a lot of houses, but I think it's really fun. So I'm going to start the pink house sometime this week and also the autumn house by Brooke's Books. But before I start those, I'm gonna stitch on the birthday cake a little bit more. So I'm almost done with the bottom layer of the October cake. And I mentioned this in my last video, but I'm not gonna do the beads and I'm not gonna do it in French knots because it's just too many. I rather do the beads instead of doing French knots. So I'm just gonna do regular X's since I'm not gonna get the beads. And the orange bows were supposed to be in beads, but I just did cross stitches for them. And I think it looks nice, but I gotta be honest, I think it would have looked really pretty with beads on them. But yeah, I'm gonna continue with this and maybe try to finish the first layer and then move on to something else. But yeah, and then I also worked on my mystery cell for 30 minutes. So I got this tiny motif done and started on the other one. And then after that, I think I'm gonna have to move the fabric down a little bit so that I could work on the last motif on top here. But yeah, so that's everything that I worked on so far, and I am working on a lot of projects all at once this month, and it is a little chaotic keeping up with all of the flosses, but I'm really enjoying myself. But in November, I'm going to go back to work on stitching one project at a time. But so far, I'm having a lot of fun working on everything. So I worked on a lot of things yesterday, and I just have Q-snaps piling up right next to me, so I'll just start with this one. So this isn't a October start, but I'm trying to finish all 12 of the Bryce tree ornaments by Brooke's Books. And this is one of the last two, and I only worked on this for 30 minutes, and I got a little bit done on her sleeves. And let me see if I could find the... so this is what it's going to look like when it's finished, and it's actually one of the bigger designs from the series, and it's a lot taller than the other ornaments so far. And also, like, look at all of this this all is stitching that I have to do, but I'm doing it in color and cotton, so it's always really fun to stitch with variegated floss, so I'm actually looking forward to it. But I'm only spending 30 minutes each a day on these two projects because I'm just trying to finish these two before November, and I still have some time. So I only stitched for 30 minutes on this, so I got this done, or I finished the other half of that and then started the last one, and this is the middle of this motif. So I still have this much left to fill in, but it's in like sections, so it looks like layers of patterns. So here's the picture. Oh, it's upside down. So this motif here. So I think I could get this done by this week, and I really want to use this Q-snap for my Halloween at Hawkhorn Hollow when I'm done with the cell. So I'm just trying to get this done as soon as I can, but I'm only stitching 30 minutes a day, so I don't know. I think it's pretty doable. And then I also worked on, oh, this is the Santa that I'll be working on in November, and I really like his beard. It has this pattern, which later will be filled in with beads. I think that's my favorite part in the Santa. And in the angel, I really like the star backstitching on the sides here. I think those are really cool. And also her wings, like the little beads as details. I think it's super cute. So, and then I finished the bottom layer of the October cake, but I still need to do the backstitching. So there's this backstitching on the purple area, like a spider web, and I think that looks super cool. I was gonna do it last night and just finish the bottom layer completely, but I forgot to. So I'm gonna do that tonight, but I'll have a picture here of what that looks like and also add a link to these freebies in the description box below. It's at Brooke's Books website, and she has 3 pages of freebies. So check her website out. She has some really cute designs. So yeah, I'm gonna do the backstitching and maybe start the second layer tonight. And then the last thing that I worked on was my Halloween at Hawkhorn Hollow, and I only got a little bit done on the flames, but I think I want to work on this on the bigger Q-snap when I'm done with the mystery cell. So I'm gonna put this on the bigger Q-snap and then work on it because I don't know, I just don't like this size Q-snap for this project. I think I want to see the whole thing when I stitch, so I'm just gonna put this to the side for now and then focus on finishing the mystery cell. So yeah, and then I didn't work on the blue manor yesterday because I worked on these smaller ones, but I still have it in my Q-snap, so I'm gonna work on it for another 2 days maybe and move on to something else, probably the pink house. And I did finish The Haunting of Bly Manor on Netflix, and I don't know, I just didn't like it as much as The Haunting of Hill House. I don't know, let me know if you saw it or not and what you thought about it, because I'm really curious about what other people think about that. I only have 2 projects to show you today, so these are the 2 projects that I worked on yesterday. And so on the saddle, I stitched this inner border and then the middle motif. So that only took 30 minutes, but I was also watching videos, so I probably only stitched about 15 minutes. And then I started on the second layer of the October cake, and I'm actually changing the colors. So I'll add the picture here again. So this and this orange is supposed to be backwards. So I'm stitching the lighter area with the darker orange and the darker orange with the lighter orange. There wasn't really any reason to it. I just thought the black pattern will show up better if I had the lighter color on it and then do the other pattern in what's supposed to be light orange background. I thought the pattern would show up better if I did the background darker. So I just switched those two, and I was going to do the backstitching on the first layer, but I forgot to, so I'll do that later today. And then I actually spent some time organizing all of my color and cotton flosses for all of the Halloween projects. So this is my Bryce Tree ornaments, so I reorganized those and then organized all of the other ones with a paper clip like this because I had so many color and cottons out and a lot of them had oranges in it, so I didn't want it to get mixed up. So this is for the birthday cake, and I'm trying not to show the chart, but this is the Blue Manor, and then the last one is the Halloween at Hawkhorn Hollow. So this way it's much I feel like it's much more manageable for me. I still use those plastic bags that you get when you buy fabrics, but I'm out of those and I didn't want to use new Ziploc bags since I feel like I'll be finishing these pretty soon, like the birthday cake. So yeah, I'm not sure what I'll work on today yet, so I don't know. I'll see you tomorrow. So it's the next morning, and I didn't do any cross stitches on this, but I did finish the spiderweb backstitching, and I think it looks super cool. And I actually added a couple more backstitching lines here just to give it another layer to the spiderweb. So the first layer of the cake is completely done, and I'm actually really happy with it. I think it looks really cool. I never really liked purple and oranges together, but I think this looks really nice. And then I ended up just working on the sal, and I just finished it because I wanted to use the bigger Q-snap on my Halloween at Hawkorn Hollow, and the last motif only took an hour. So far, part 10 was the biggest area. So starting from, where? Also from this tiny one, and then this, and up here. And I think it looks really ornate, but it didn't really take that long because the motifs were very lacy. I hope that makes sense, but it gives the decorative feel without too much stitching. So I really like this month's section. And then I moved my Halloween at Hawkorn Hollow to the bigger Q-snap and worked on the flames just a tiny bit, but I'm going to move on to the next page and try to get to the other end of this block. And then down here, I think I'll start a new block tonight or tomorrow, and I want something that I could start from the left-hand corner without counting too much. And also one up here that I could start from the bottom left. So let's see here. So I think I could start the vampires from the upper left corner, starting with the words. It would be fun to stitch the vampires and the coffins, but I'll just start from up here and on the fabric here. But I'm gonna have to move this up just a little bit. So I'll start the vampires, and I think I think I could stitch along this way and get to the vampires or Dracula. That looks like a lot of fun actually. And then I could start the house over here on this side of the fabric, starting from the bottom left corner. There's back stitching up here anyways, and I don't want to start with those, even though it looks really cool. So yeah, I think that's the plan. So it's late in the afternoon because my parents and I went to see my grandparents' grave. We were supposed to go on Chuseok, Korean Thanksgiving, but we decided to stay on Thanksgiving Day and go later because of traffic, and we have a private place for the graves, so we were just by ourselves, and we were trying to avoid going places where there's a lot of people because of COVID, and it's 3 hours away. So we stopped at a rest area where there are a couple of food places, and normally during the holidays, it's really packed with people. So we went today instead, and it was pretty empty, so that was really nice. So we went to my mom's side's grave to see my grandparents' grave, and then also my dad's side's to see my grandmother's. And there's also like our great 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 grandparents' graves, and so we just checked out all of their graves too, just to make sure if everything looks okay. And we have someone who takes care of it, so we don't have to go there too often. But because it was Chuseok and traditionally we're supposed to go there in the morning of that Thanksgiving Day, but we went today instead, like I said. And when we get there, we park and we have to walk. It's like a short hiking trail to the hills up to the grave. And it was just nice to walk and also to see the view. So I'll add a couple of videos of that at the end, but yeah, so we just got back and I kind of slept in the car, so I'm a little tired, but yeah, so I didn't stitch at all today yet, but I'm here to show you my stitching from yesterday. So I worked on my Halloween at Hawkorn Hollow, and so I started on the other witch on this side, and then I started my second block down here. And I actually changed my mind and started the Headless Horseman, because I realized that I could start from the left upper corner on this one. So I started the black branches with the bird on top, so like right here. And because I really wanted to stitch the vampires or Dracula, so I'm going to do this over here instead of the haunted house. But yeah, so I only got a little bit started, but I'm also going to start Dracula later today because I think I'm gonna take a nap right after recording this because I woke up at 5 in the morning and went to bed at like 2 or 3 last night. So I need some sleep. But for some reason, because it takes 3 hours to get to the graves, I thought I was going to stitch in the car. So I kitted up a small project to work on in the car, but I was too tired to stitch. But I'm going to start this sometime in October, and it is one of the freebies from the Primitive Hare's website, and it's called Samhain. I think it means Halloween in Gaelic or Irish. I can't remember, but this was one of the designs that I really wanted to stitch. So I'll have a picture here, and I'll also link in the description box below if you also want to stitch this pattern too. So for fabric, I chose this, and I forgot the name, but it's the same fabric that I used for my Sweet Sentiments. It's the other half of the fabric, and it is a 40 count. And I chose these two because I wanted to stitch something with a lot of variegation, and I thought this would be perfect for the pumpkin and the other elements around it. So yeah, this is ready to be started, but I think I'll start this sometime this weekend and try to finish it within October. But today I think I want to get to the other end of the witches and start the block with Dracula. So I think I'm going to do that, and I think this video is long enough, so I'm going to end the video here and start a new one tomorrow. And I realized just now when I was looking at all of the footage that I have for this stitching vlog, I didn't record any cooking or baking. So sorry if you like those. I actually made a lot of cookies this week, but I forgot to record them. But if you want to see them, let me know in the comments and I'll make sure to include them in my future videos. So yeah, I guess that's it. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.